Ziggy, good to see you again.
What's up, Cope?
Hey, man, I'm excited to start our new podcast, right? And it's called Please Allow Me to Introduce Myself, because we're going to interview alumni, hoopsters that people don't know, or maybe they've heard of, or they know, but they don't know their backstory. I think that'd be interesting. Don't you?
Super cool. These are the stories we hear quickly over a beer at Alumni Hoops Weekend, but we thought we'd do a little bit longer form.
Yeah. We think it's cool that alums can meet other alums. Parents can meet alums, whoever it is, and it was cool. For our first guest, we asked her to come on. She was a great player at Dickinson. She has tremendous career stats, and we didn't know her, right? We met her briefly last year, but none of us knew her. So do you want to help? You want to tell?
Yeah, in fact, we didn't meet her last year at Alumni Hoops Weekend. She's never been back from Alumni Hoops Weekend. You and I met her when we were fundraising for the Century Club. Yeah. But, I said, we need to get Kim Selemba back. She's the second all-time leading scorer in women's basketball history. She shows up in the Dickinson record book, Cope, 26 times.
That was the number I counted too. I went and looked.
26 times. Yeah. She's second in field goals attempted, second in three-point field goals attempted. She's second in free throws made, and she's second in free throws attempted. And oh, by the way, she's 10th in steals. I mean, it's unreal. Look it up. Kim Selemba, 26 times. So we want to bring her back into the fold, welcome her back to the program. She's an important part of our history, and I'm excited to get going.
Yeah, me too. Let's introduce the Friends of Red Devil Basketball Network to Kim Selemba of the class of 2001.
My thinking on this, Cope, and inviting Kim to be our first guest was not only was she a great player, but I've been coming back almost every year to the Alumni Hoops Weekend since 2011, and I have never met her. So I wanted to introduce FORDB, introduce ourselves, and have her introduce herself to us. So I'm super excited, Kim. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks, guys.
So I want to start from the beginning, right? I mean, I know this story from all my teammates. Where did you come from? So let's start this. A couple questions. How did your love for basketball start? What are some of your first memories of playing basketball, watching basketball, enjoying basketball? And I want to know where you came from, your hometown, what high school you went to. Are you a Mid-Penn girl or are you a Jersey girl? That kind of stuff. So kind of just give us a sense of who you are, where you came from, leading up until Dickinson orientation.
Sure. Thank you. I grew up in Scranton, Pennsylvania. My folks and my family still lives up there. But ever since going to Dickinson, I never moved back home. I went to Bishop O'Hara High School, graduated in 1997. That high school no longer exists. It consolidated with the other local Catholic school in the area and is now Holy Cross. Okay. So how I fell in love with basketball, funny story with that. I actually started playing a rec league in 7th grade at the local church. But how I learned to play and how I learned to practice was actually on roller skates. The house that my family lived in already had a hoop in it, I believe. If not, my parents put a hoop in. But it was on, macadam. So I loved to roller skate. So it was there for fun. So I learned to dribble the ball, shoot some layups, use the stoppers on my roller skates to stop and pull up and shoot, but I learned how to play and I just loved it from there.
So I'm going to stop you right now and just ask maybe an obvious question. So you were a guard?
I was, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Because Cope and I didn't learn to play basketball on roller
I can tell you, I've been accused of looking like I played, like I was on roller skates. But no, couldn't walk and chew gum at the same time, much less play basketball and rollers. So, hey, you Cardinal, what high school was it? Cardinal or Bishop O'Hara?
Bishop O'Hara.
Is that where Jerry McNamara went, or did he go to?
He went to Bishop Hannon, and that's the high school that they consolidated.
Yeah, I could not remember which one it was that he went to. You guys are any good in high school? Are you guys good? Do you go to the states? Go to districts? What do you do?
We did. As far as I can recall, you're really testing my memory, but yeah, especially my junior year, we did go to states. We had three incredible seniors that were in front of me, but I was on the starting five with them. So we did make it to states. We did not win states. I forget how far along we made it. I don't know if it was the actual state championship game,
Okay.
but we made it pretty far to states. And then senior year, we held our own.
Yeah. Okay.
So all these guys that I played with, they have all these stories about who they played against, right? Other great players that they played against. So I'd like to know were there any good female basketball players you played against? And then also I'm just curious who you played with. Like, are there any other people on your high school team, like the three seniors, your junior year, did any of them play college ball?
Yeah, so I'll answer your second question first. Those three seniors, it was Sarah Harris at the became married, and it's now Sarah Walsh. She went to play at Lafayette. We had
Okay.
Christina Kennedy. She went along and played at Marywood in the Scranton area. And Jeannie Wozniak was the other good senior, and I believe she played at Westchester. If Jeannie's listening to this, I apologize if I don't have that 100% right, but I believe
Yeah.
she went on to play college ball as well.
Got it. So you got at least four college basketball players on that team. That's a
lot of good.
Team.
That's a lot of good players on a high school team, and that was probably a smaller high school too, right? I mean,
it was. I graduated with 75 people only, so do the math. I guess there was 300 of us in the school.
What like how did Dickinson show up on your radar?
You know, it's funny. So I played AAU ball and went to, summer basketball camps. And it was the then coach, Ann Hanum, who really took a liking to me. She showed up with other coaches, but she really took a liking. And she came to several of them, my high school games. So, yeah, I developed a relationship with Coach Hanum early on. And, then we went down to visit the campus and I did fall in love with it. So I was looking at a few different schools, but just fell in love with the aesthetics and the academics that Dickinson had to offer along with the athletic program.
And what year did Coach Hanum show up? Like, how early in your high school career did you know, hey, I could play college basketball? Was it like the summer before your senior year? Was it the summer before your freshman year? Like, what are we talking here?
No, it wasn't that good. But probably around my junior year, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who else did you look at? Or who else was looking at you?
I was considering Susquehanna, Muhlenberg, and a little bit of Lehigh and Bucknell. So I was looking for a small D1 school, and I actually visited those campuses. But at the end of the day, they picked some of my local competitors in the spot rather than me.
And no scholarships at those Patriot League teams back in the late 90s either, right? So
about it, yeah. My parents were thankful for that, that I chose Dickinson.
It was good hoop. It was very, very good hoop, but they were not scholarship at the time. Okay, so you decide to come to Dickinson, and you play right away, right? You're playing for Coach Hanum, and I'm trying to remember, Bram, when did she come in? Did she come in 90? Do you remember?
She was not there my freshman year, I don't believe. I think she was either first year was my sophomore year, which would have been 90-91, or the next year. I'm trying to
remember. I remember she was around that when we were in school. She came in. Yeah.
I think your senior year was her first year.
I think I had her for badminton my senior year. She was nice though. She's like, stay off your feet. Like it was in the middle of the season, And I was like, oh, thank you, Coach Hanum. Thank you. Not like badminton was that tough. So you get to Dickinson, and you, what dorm did you live in, by the way? Do you remember?
Oh gosh, Morgan Hall.
Freshman
year, yeah. Before the renovations, I've seen it since, and it was not the Morgan that I lived in.
I was in my junior year. I was the RA in Morgan Pitt.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Morgan Pitt looks a lot different now.
Yeah. All right. So you get to campus. You're living in Morgan, and your freshman year, first year, you play a lot, right? You start immediately.
I do.
So who else is on your team? Like who were the? Because you're a freshman, you got seniors, juniors. Who were some of the other starters on that team? Do you remember?
Yeah, generally speaking, it was Sweeta Hutchinson, Desi Fosnacht, Christy Pugh, who else? Brina Timian, who was actually Coach Timian's daughter. I had him as an assistant coach at one year. We had a larger freshman class, and a lot of them ultimately didn't make it through the end of the seniors, but we had a big freshman class. We had Kyle, Raina Mast, Courtney Ritchie. We had another Kim on the team, which is how I developed my nickname that still somewhat to this day follows me. If you don't mind me deviating, but I'm still known in my adult years as Kimmy.
Okay.
And that's because we had two Kims on the team, and Coach Hatem needed to differentiate us on the court. So our forward, who was just bigger by nature being a forward, was named Kim, and I became Kimmy.
Well, like just two
And
things.
so when you come
Hold on,
back
Ziggy.
to
Two things.
age,
We will
Yeah.
deviate. I mean, there's no. I need to apologize for deviating. I can't believe it took us this long. And two, I love that. I like that nickname. So sorry, Ziggy. I just had to make sure everybody understood we will be deviating. Please continue.
Well, funny.
well, I was just going to ask, when you come back to Alumni Hoops Weekend on February 20th, 21st, see that plug code? Should we refer to you as Kimmy?
That'd be great.
Yeah.
The thing is, I couldn't avoid it. Funny story. I had so again, I was known as Kimmy in college. Went off to law school then, and I escaped Kimmy. I, was a couple years older, and I went back to Kim. And then in my second year of law school, one of my teammates, who was a year behind me, also went to Dickinson Law. So as soon as she came back or came into law school, I then became Kimmy again because I hung out with Lexi and her friends. So then the rest of law school, I remained Kimmy. So, as much as I had that when I was a young kid, it haunted me again later in my adult years.
What does your husband call you?
That's not for this podcast.
That was a deviation right there. This podcast, please allow me to introduce myself, is brought to you by Friends of Red Devil Basketball. And for those of you who are listening who don't know what we do, we are a big group of former players, fans, parents, family members, friends of Red Devil Basketball. And we're going to tell you the 4 pillars that we have built this organization on. And number one, the one that was most important to me, was camaraderie. I wanted to stay close to my teammates and people I played with and for and even coached, right? So for me, camaraderie was number one. Bram Ziegler.
Yeah, the second pillar is mentorship. So I run the mentorship program. Every incoming player, the summer before they arrive on Dickinson, they are connected with an alumni mentor. And that mentor is not there to help them with professional advice. That mentor is basically just to be a connection to the past, right? A friend, a buddy, be in contact over the next 4 years. And then when you do get to junior year and you start thinking about what you want to do, that mentor can help you connect with other people, which takes us to the third pillar, Cope, which is?
You do a tremendous job with that. And our third pillar is networking, right? So like you go from having mentors and you're starting to look for, how do I find a job? How do I find an internship? Well, you just turn to the Friends of Red Devil Basketball. We got you squared away and we'll get you plugged in when you're ready. So that was it. So we got Bram, we got camaraderie, we got mentorship, we got networking. And then what's the last one we do?
The last, of course, is fundraising, right? I mean, every D3 team is constrained by available funds. And we really want this experience for the players to be top-notch. And so Cope and I led an effort to fund an endowment that Dickinson had started. We did that last year. We called it the Century Club. We ended up raising $362,000. That money is set aside for both programs. So it kicks off 5%. So that's $18,000 a year. And we want to grow that fund. It's called the Friends of Red Devil Basketball Fund. And we want to grow that, right, to $1 million. That should be kicking off $50,000 a year and giving the coaches the ability to enhance the players' experience. That will help them in recruiting and it will help in the win column.
And to continue to bring in great people, right? So here's our call to action to anybody that's listening to this. Alumni Hoops Weekend, February 20th and 21st of 2026. Just come back.
Come back.
If you're old and you don't want to play, you don't have to. Half of us don't. If you just want to see your teammates or friends, come back. I promise you won't regret it. You'll enjoy it, and you'll be so glad you did. So let's now, Bram, let's get back to Kim Selemba of 2001.
Yeah, nice.
Wow, I like that.
I want to take a step back though, and this is for maybe the recruits that are watching this, because this is going to be super cool, and the coaches are going to share these podcasts with recruits. What was your acceptance journey at Dickinson? Did you apply? Were you talking to Ann and you applied early? And you got in early, and so you knew in December, I'm going to Dickinson. Were you? So tell us about that journey.
Yeah, as much as I remember, to be honest, I think it was that. I think I, fell in love with Dickinson pretty early on. It might have even been, geez, I don't remember. What I will say, my last visit to Dickinson was April 1st of my senior year of high school. I just don't remember if I already was accepted at that point. I had to have been. I'm pretty sure. It was just, let's go look at the campus again. So my parents and I went down. We debated going down because there was pending weather, a snowstorm coming on April 1st. It was April Fool's Day, but we're like, we can make it. We can make it back in time. And we actually got stuck in the snowstorm on Interstate 81 for about 17 hours.
Wow.
So I'll never forget that last visit, but I believe I was already accepted at that point and was just going down and meet some of the teammates. And so I think it was pretty early on that I fell in love with it and accepted.
I stuck somewhere on Interstate 81, probably near Hazleton on the side of the hill. Yeah. Of course.
Exactly.
Of course. Yes. I've made that trip a million times, including this morning to Dixon City.
Nice.
Yeah. So, all right. So you get accepted. Did you know, I mean, we'll ask you ultimately what you do now post grad, but, did you know that's what you wanted to do? Or did you find that when you were at Dickinson? Did you decide to do it afterwards?
As far as becoming a lawyer?
Yeah.
I never really knew. And actually, I thought I wanted to be a doctor, and that was going to, that's going to have to be edited. I thought I was going to be a doctor. I actually started off taking pre-med classes such as biology and whatnot. And what I found, and I made the personal choice to drop that major because the 3-hour biology labs, for example, were interfering with getting on the bus to go to games and some of my practices. And I really prioritized basketball, and I really didn't want to miss anything, which is also why I didn't study abroad. So I changed majors to become a generic political science major, and that was fine. So no, I really never knew I wanted to be a lawyer. It just ended up being my path. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And my parents after school were like, well, you're not coming home. You're not going to come home and just figure it out. I remember my senior year at spring break, I had taken the LSATs. I did fine on them. And I was good at school. So I was like, all right, why not school? So I picked the LSATs, but I didn't do anything with it. And I came home for spring break. My parents were like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just trying to graduate. And they're like, well, you go to law school and apply, have interviews? No. And then they're like, you're not coming home. So I basically applied to law school to get them off my back. Here I am.
So your comment about not studying abroad, and most of us who played intercollegiate sports did not. But that reminds me, Cope, you'll remember this, when I first looked you up, because we were doing all that fundraising last year. And so that's how I looked you up and reached out to you. And I was doing my due diligence, and I was looking at your career. And for some reason, I didn't see like stats for a junior year, and I'm like, I remember calling Cope, not texting. Like, I thought this was important enough. I called him and I said, I think the second leading scorer in Dickinson history went abroad. I think she did that in 3 years. And we had like a 21-minute conversation about like,
totally the case.
Who is this?
What is this person's deal? We were trying to figure it out. Yeah. Because
I wish that were the reason why I got injured that year.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I remember.
Yeah, and you know it, like, that's a very, in a good way, neutral way, and bad way. It's a very Division III basketball thing that you're like, oh yeah, that person that was leading them in rebounding and steals. When was she? And they're like, she's in Toulouse or something. And you're like, what? Right. We all know that and that's cool, right? Like, but that was not necessarily our style. Wow.
So tell us a little bit about your Dickinson journey. So it started fast, I would say, right? You're a freshman starter.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your experience being a starter so early. Your teams the next 4 years. Just tell us about kind of what experience was at Dickinson.
Sure. Regardless, it was a whole lot of fun. I have zero regrets. I loved it overall. Our freshman year, we did not have a winning record by any means. I think we only actually had 6 wins, but we were starting 4 freshmen, and
Oh,
So
wow.
we had hope that we had a lot of room to grow and there's potential, and we held on to that hope. Again, we developed great friendships and started really bonding as a team. However, I will say that our winning record never quite came to fruition throughout my 4 years. So that was a little frustrating. But we played hard and we played, some games we got crushed. I'm not going to lie. Other games we really held our own at, and we did win too. It's not that,
Yeah.
but we didn't have, the winning record that came to the teams. I don't know about before me. I think Annie Guzik's teams were quite successful, but then after me, I saw the team, take off again. So, it had some heartbreak in there and frustration, but at the same time, it was a whole lot of fun, and I would do it all
Sure.
over again.
So one of the things that I'm fascinated by, because I went to a small school in New Jersey, we played our games at 3:45 p.m. on the weekdays. Like we didn't even have night games, right? Now my sons have gone to a public school and they pack the gym for high school games. And I just think to myself, gosh, for some people who played at high schools that were really popular, D3 is kind of like feels weird, right? Now you're playing in the Klein with 200 people watching and so I'm just kind of, I'm wondering what your experience was. You said you went to a small high school, but it could have had a rabid fan base for basketball. I don't know. So what was that like for you? Was it kind of like, oh, you're a starter, you're good enough to start a freshman year, but like in terms of the games, who you're playing in front of, was that a big shock to then play in D3?
Yeah, somewhat. At the same time, and I hate to say this, and I've seen women's basketball come a long way, but at the same time, obviously the Klein Center is a big center, but even with the bleachers that we pulled out, we didn't have a whole lot of following. I will say our parents were there all the time, collectively across the team, and our roommates and our friends and, periodic people, but it wasn't then that I really did play in front of a packed gym. At the same time, it was nice to see, all the staff. Some professors came to see us. So, yeah, because of that, it wasn't a huge change from my high school, and we did have a big following in high school. But like I said, I'm proud to see women's basketball, especially advanced, that they have such a following now. They do play to a lot more crowds than I did back in my day.
Yeah. You end up having to sort of generate your own crowd too. Like you have to tell your friends when you're playing, tell your sorority sisters or fraternity brothers or whomever it is, hey, we play Tuesday night. It's not because it's not every Saturday afternoon at 1:00 either, or something. And it's very, it's about what you, I think it becomes what you make it. And it's hard. It's different. It's
Yeah.
So,
I will give credit to my parents if I can. Again, living up in Scranton, they didn't miss a game. I mean, it was very rare if they did, and especially during the winter season, taking that, road trip down 81 and black ice and in the dark, and they were still working at the time and went to work the next day. So, I commend my parents for being one of my biggest supporters, if not the biggest supporters I had. And I always knew my mom was in the crowd because I heard her voice.
Yeah. Did who were the teams that you guys, who were your rivals team wise when you were in college? Somebody you measured yourself against?
Yeah, Franklin and Marshall was the big one. Johns Hopkins, Gettysburg. They're the ones that really stand out to me. But I know there was more in our division of the Centennial Conference, but I do remember those games getting really pumped up for them.
Yeah. So if you came in the fall of '97, you were the whole time you were part of the Centennial Conference,
Yes,
right? Yeah. So okay.
Because Bram, did you play in the Centennial? Was your last year? You missed it.
My senior year was the last year in the MAC.
We were on the MAC Southwest at that time. So, conference changed. It's hard to believe the conference is that old now, but it was a lot of the same rivals, which is cool. But so Kim, you play 4 years. You're injured 1 year. I noticed, I was looking at some of your stats. I don't know if you led the team in scoring your freshman year, but you had to be close because you averaged 17, right? I mean, you came in and were a player immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My freshman year actually was the best year overall that I had.
Really?
And then I kind of went downhill from there. Yeah. But my freshman year stat wise was the best year I had. I did lead the team in scoring that year, and I maintained my own sophomore year. Junior year I got hurt, and then I kind of rebounded a little bit my senior year, a lot bit my senior year, but there's other external factors going on as well. But yeah, freshman year was actually my best year.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Impressive.
I always like to ask, and I know Bram has a really good question about this to an extent. What we talk to a lot of the players who were currently in school, and the cool thing about having such a liberal arts degree is it's great. You can do anything. The problem is, you can do anything, right? And it's hard. And your parents just basically said, you're not coming home, what, what you probably talk to people who are, 18, 19 years old. Like, what advice do you give them about a liberal arts school? Because, you went to one, you were a good student, but you weren't sure what you wanted to do, right? Like,
Yeah.
How do you talk to them to think about it? What advice do you give to people who are there now?
Yeah, I mean, that is hard. And like you just said, Cope, that is the pluses and the minuses of a liberal arts school. And honestly, I fell into the camp that I didn't know what I wanted to do. Honestly, I was a political science major. I ended up being that,
Right.
but I'm not in that field at all in my job, even though it led me to law school. I don't know. Again, just explore, figure it out. It's okay to try different things, try different classes, and maybe, you know, you'll find your passion, you'll find your interest in that way. Granted, I didn't have a passion for political science. I can't say I did. It was a means to an end. Um, but yeah, use those opportunities at a liberal arts school to be able to hopefully figure it out. I mean, 18 and 19-year-olds are so young. I realize that. How are you supposed to know what you want to do for the rest of your life when you're 18 or 19? I mean, granted, some people do, and that's great. I actually thought I did too. And frankly, I still want to be a doctor. So my instincts were always right. But I just, again, chose a path to, get on the bus to go to away games, then pursue a pre-med degree.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ziggy.
So one question that I have, and I have a story that I've told on this topic many times at the HW. I won't say it here, but I'll tell you at the Alumni Hoops Weekend. But I'm curious, if you can look back, what experience did you have as a member of the basketball team, either in the locker room or on the floor or in the camaraderie around the team, that you think prepared you for something you faced in your professional career?
It's a good question. I have a lot of experiences and a lot of memories, funny ones that I cannot necessarily share on this podcast. How they've helped me professionally, I don't know, but they make me laugh to this day. But on a serious note, I really can't point to one particular experience, but I can point to my overall 4-year experience. And what I mean by that is, unfortunately, I never had a consistent coaching staff throughout my entire 4 years. It was either the head coach stayed the same for 2 years, and then my last 2 years, I had a different head coach. Regardless, the assistant coaches were changing throughout all the years. So I had 4 different coaches, or a different version of coaches for 4 different years. And, that was hard to adjust to, and you had to acclimate, you had to adjust and make changes. And so, we had to do that. And I think I look back on that and realize that has helped me in life. As we know, life changes constantly in the blink of an eye. So going through that experience and having to adapt and adjust and work through it, I think helped me professionally. So even though it's not a particular experience per se, it's a collective college basketball experience that I look back to.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a great answer. And, I went through both Bram and I went through a coaching change while we were in college. Coach Evans retired. Coach Froman came in. And it was, when you're 19 and you identify yourself as an athlete, that's traumatic. It can be very traumatic.
Yeah.
And then you get injured, right? Like, I mean, I don't think, while you were extremely successful, by certain measures, it's still not easy. And I admire the fact that you were able to get through that. And like, that's hard. What was the what was the high point though? Was there a high point where you were thinking like, and maybe there wasn't one, I don't know, where you were thinking like, wow, this is worth all the stuff the 3-hour labs, the injury I had,
Yeah.
all this, the black ice trips my parents are making. This is worth it. It might be on a bus, might be in a locker room. I don't know. Do you have a memory like that?
Fun. Again, I don't feel like I can share a lot of my
Is this-
memories like that. I really
Is
don't.
this on the director's cut behind the paywall that we're going to have to do? Yeah. Okay.
We're in executive session right now.
We were just a close team. We were a close team. We had a lot of fun in the locker rooms. We had, traditions. I mean, and I won't get graphic, of course, but I was known for not being able to untie my double knotted shoes. So I would give up as other girls are changing to get ready to go in the shower. And I would take all my practice uniform or regular uniform off, and I would still be there with my shoes on. And I needed a teammate all the time to unknot my shoes, as I do not have clothes on. So it was just memories like that, right? We had fun and I love the game. So again, I would do it all over again, even though there was adversity and challenges and we weren't an overall winning team, but the game was awesome. We had a great
Are you
time.
guys still close? Are you close with your teammates? Have you guys lost touch? Sometimes it happens, even to the closest teams, it happens.
Yeah, I mean, we're Facebook friends, but I wouldn't call that close per se. I would like us to maybe get together for a reunion because I know some teams are still best friends to this day and go to each other's weddings, and I don't feel like that happened with my class.
Well, I tell you what, why don't you use Alumni Hoops Weekend as your destination? Let's get a bunch of you back and celebrate you, and you guys can reconnect.
Yeah, that'd be great.
It's the spirit of that Alumni Hoops Weekend is, even if like last year we had 2 people who had never been back, their whole team didn't come back, just 2, and now they're saying, "Oh, that was so much fun! It was so great to see you again. Let's see who else we can get back." And
these are 82 grads.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
yeah. So
Wow.
that's been one of the. I know I won't speak for everybody. I know Bram and I both love the fact that we see the same people back, and then we see new groups who sort of use it as like a hoops homecoming. And you're never going to get everybody, and it's not always. But that has been, don't you think, Bram? Like that's been one of the coolest parts of the entire experience. And I love it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I look forward to that.
So we got.
I would love to see some of my teammates there.
Well, let's get them. Let's get them back.
So, let's talk about your journey a little bit after school. So you graduate. We know you're now a lawyer, but talk a little bit about that journey. And then I guess one other question I had, you say you love the game. Are you still around the game at all?
I'm not. And as far as playing it, no. I mean, yeah, just my life has changed. I'm just so busy with work and different stuff now. I mean, I love to watch it, but I don't play. And honestly, part of that might be a pride thing. And what I mean by that is that, like, you guys think I was good and you only read me on paper. But if I played now and haven't played in 20 years and shoot air balls and can't run up the court, people would be like, who's this girl? And I kind of want to ruin people's impressions of what they think I was. So.
I like that.
Well, Kim, many of us do not play anymore. Just so you know, we go back and we watch and we support those who do.
Yeah, it's actually, Kim, why we changed the name. It's not alumni. It's not the Alumni Hoops game. It's Alumni Hoops Weekend. There's a game that occurs on that weekend. But there's a lot of people who don't want to come back to play, but want to come back. And I would say, like, that would be the aim. So where are you living now? What do you do nowadays for job? Tell us about your personal life and your professional life.
Yeah, sure. I live in Harrisburg. So after college, I stayed local, went to Dickinson Law School in Carlisle. So I got familiar with the area. So stayed here in this area, never moved back to Scranton. So I am a lawyer now since 2004. I currently work at a firm called Saxton and Stump, where I practice medical malpractice and nursing home defense litigation. So the cool thing about that is, and I see it all the time now. It re-embodies my passion that I wanted to be a doctor, but now at least I can represent the doctors in the hospitals, and it's the closest thing I can be to being a doctor, and I love that. So I'm really, really happy in my job. Got married 3 years ago to my husband, Brooks, and we're just having a good old time.
Oh, that's cool.
Excellent.
Kim,
So,
thank you for doing this, by the way. You were great.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it
Oh,
was so, it
thanks.
was
Thanks for
so,
having me.
oh my gosh, it was so nice talking to you. Okay, Bram.
That was great.
She was pretty cool, right? Like, oh, she could play.
I mean, Cope, second leading scorer in women's basketball history, and she's not part of the program, right? But now she is. She's coming back, and I feel great about it. That was a
Yeah.
great discussion.
Yeah, it's funny. We got a lot of good players from the Scranton area back in the 90s.
Yeah.
She had 3 seasons. She obviously didn't play her junior year because of an injury. She averaged 17, 17, and 19.
That's pretty good.
Like, hey, this just in. I think she was pretty good, right?
Yeah.
So Ziggy, what'd you take away from her? What will you remember about her when we see her in February to bring up?
Yeah, well, again, the most excited, the thing I'm most excited about is that she's coming back, right?
Yeah.
Alumni Hoops Weekend is all about re-engagement, right? Doesn't matter if you've been away 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. We had 2 guys come back last year from the class of 82, right? They hadn't been back in 43 years, and they had a blowout good time, and they're coming back in 26. So it's about engagement, right? So that's my number one takeaway is we have re-engaged with her, and she's coming back, and I'm super excited about it for her and for the program.
Yeah, I was tremendously impressed by how hard her career was. Coaching changes, injuries, like, and yet she still has a smile on her face, and speaks highly of it. And you like when she talks about her teammates and the stuff that she wouldn't tell us, which we will get out of her in Alumni Hoops Weekend, but
Totally.
her stories, you could see her light up when she talks about her teammates. And I just think that's one of the coolest things on the planet. I really do.
I mean, you and I had a great experience, right? Your senior year, we had a good team, right? One of only 5 NCAA teams in our history. We had a good team, and that was fun. But I picked up on the fact that she was a little hesitant to talk about that. She's like, "Oh, we weren't really that good." But it's not only about that, right? It's about your 4-year experience. And then there was all those moments where she's like, "Well, I can't talk about that. I can't talk about that." She had a great time, a great 4 years. And I guess my point, everyone that wants to come back and re-engage, it's not about were you on one of the best teams in Dickinson history. It doesn't matter.
Nope.
You laced them up. You're part of the history. Come back and tell us your stories. That's what I would say.
Yep. Agreed. We don't care if you were 25-0 or 0-25. If you lace them up, we're interested in talking to you. We're interested in seeing you. You have a story. We want to hear it. And we're going to bug you. Which leads to me to say, Ziggy, I would love for alums to send us, or parents or whomever, who we should talk to, who we should interview, because we don't care if they're good. We don't care. We want to know who they are, and we want them to come back, and we want to have them engaged because, frankly, it's fun for us. We really have a great time with it. Sure. So my call to action to people who are listening to this is send us a name.
Yep.
Nominate somebody and tell us, hey, you should talk to this person. She was really cool, or you'd love to hear from him, because we would love to hear from them. How about you? You got a call to action for our audience?
I would just say come back.
Come back.
That's the number one call to action. We talk about our 4 pillars. When you come back, you can engage in one or all 4 of those pillars. We just want to see you, and we want you to be part of the program. The program is not just the 18 men or the 18 women on the team. The program is the 100-plus people that laced them up over the last 40, 50 years, and we want everyone back.
Yeah, we have over 560 people on our mailing list. We usually have between 80 and 100 people come back every year. The college cannot believe it. They think it's great. The programs love it.
But we haven't broken 100 yet.
Right, we're going to break 100.
I want to break 100.
Yeah, same here. So everybody, thanks for listening to our first. Please allow me to introduce myself with the great Kim Selemba of 2001. Ziggy, this was awesome. We will be doing a lot more of these.
See you soon, Cope.
Thanks, pal.